Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Offside Rule, hosted by myself, Yannicka or Yan City, and I'm joined by the lovely Shell.
Hi.
Tonight we're just going to kind of touch on the Champions League. Obviously, both of our teams went through, so it's a good week. I think we'll start on that, and then we'll go into, obviously, the predictions for the next round. So we'll start with Chelsea. Obviously, in the first leg, you pretty much wrapped it up 2-0. You lost the second leg very late on, but it didn't matter. You were already through. So, how did you find the Chelsea performance in the second leg? Because I didn't actually see it. So,
I wasn't really bothered. We defended well. I didn't expect us to, we'd kind of wrapped up in the first leg. So for me, it wasn't it was me for more of a kind of defend. We had 2 away goals. It didn't really matter to me. They can get their away goal all they want, but a great away goal, by the way, not being biased, but it was a great bicycle kick. But we went through. I was happy with the performance in the first leg. Really happy that we defended well. Really couldn't ask for more. We're through to the semi-finals, so I'm quite happy, to be honest. Players played well, and I'm happy with the performance, to be honest. It's weird seeing the fact that when Werner's not playing, we play way better, which is really interesting. But I'm enjoying seeing Mount, Pulisic, and Havertz up as our front three, and it seems to be working a lot better without Werner.
Sometimes it's like that, though. I think Mount is really, really good for you this season. He's probably your player of the season, just based off the overall campaign, because I think under Lampard, when a lot of your players were struggling, he was still doing well. So I think overall, maybe since Tuchel's come in, maybe he's not been the best player. I don't really watch Chelsea, but before that, he was one of the best under Lampard, and he's still one of the best. So I think from an outsider looking in, I'd probably say he's probably your player of the season.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But it's been good. Obviously, I didn't watch the Chelsea game. But I think obviously while we're on Chelsea, we'll kind of talk about the next leg. Obviously, you play Real Madrid, who knocked out Liverpool, which we'll get onto in a minute. But what do you think for that? Because I don't think we played Real Madrid.
No.
So it'd be interesting.
I feel like, for me, everyone's bigging up Real Madrid, but they were only playing Liverpool. Sorry, I know I'm going to be a dick here, but Liverpool, out of all the teams in the quarterfinals, Liverpool were one of the worst. And for me, Real Madrid I would have been embarrassed if Real Madrid hadn't beaten them. If I was Real Madrid, I would have been embarrassed. I would have been embarrassed that they hadn't beaten them. But I mean, Liverpool had so many chances in their second leg. They didn't take them. But Real Madrid, we've got Benzema, Vinicius Jr. Yes, we have to be careful of them. It's looking like Eden Hazard's not going to be. He's not going to be actually playing against us. Rumor is that if he gets another injury, his career's done. So I don't know if Real Madrid will take the proper time to kind of train him, rehabilitate him properly, and then bring him in next season, which is what I would do personally. But that's just the fact that I manage well. But I have a little niggling doubt, but I feel confident because I feel like I'm more worried about City on Saturday than I am playing Real Madrid.
Yeah, a lot of Chelsea fans have said that, actually. I think, do you know what it is with Real Madrid? Because it's last season when we got them, everyone was like, City are out, they'll never beat Real Madrid. Real Madrid in the Champions League, they're so good, and Man City are crap, all this. And we beat them over the 2 legs. We did beat them fairly easily, to be honest. It wasn't, I thought away we would struggle, but we didn't really. I think we went 1-0 down and came back and won 2-1. And at home, 2-1 as well. So I don't think it was as hard as we thought it was going to be. That being said, I think Man City tend to do better against the better sides in a way. It's weird. So, yeah, it's one of them. So you're definitely capable of beating them. Because I think Atletico Madrid, people kind of felt the same way. Like, oh, there's no way Chelsea go there and beat them, easily. And over the 2 legs, it wasn't really that difficult for you. So
I feel like City on the weekend will be an outlook as to how we perform in the Champions against Real Madrid, because City, we haven't played City under Tuchel yet, which I think is going to be interesting. Pep versus Tuchel, you love to see it. It's like a revamp of when Pep was at, where was it? He played against Tuchel. I can't remember. Anyway, he has played against Tuchel before.
Might have been at Bayern.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it might have been there.
He has played against them before, so it'll be interesting to kind of see, because I think Man City is going to be a challenge for us. Do I think, though, we're capable of beating... I'm really sorry, Anne. We are capable of beating you. I don't want to be a dick here, but no, you have shown weaknesses. You showed it last weekend on Saturday. And that's not me being a dick. You have weaknesses.
No, we're beatable. We are beatable.
But I mean, what I'm most looking forward to, I'm not even looking to. I'm looking forward to Chelsea, Real Madrid, but Man City, PSG is going to be an absolute shit show, and it's not going to be good for City. Please tell me how John Stones and Diaz are going to stop Neymar and Mbappe. Someone tell me. It's not
even them that I'm worried about. It's Mbappe against Edison is something that I don't want to see.
I'm not gonna lie. I was happy in the second leg that Jude Bellingham got his goal, which I said was going to happen. That Jude Bellingham was going to come back and absolutely get a goal that Edison should have stopped but didn't. Can we talk about your penalty, please? That you got given.
I was going to move on to Man City because obviously the first leg, I don't think we discussed the first leg on here because I don't think I was here last week. But, for me, that, a lot of people are talking about, people have even said it in the comments tonight, City have robbed Dortmund. The first thing that I would say is he didn't get a goal disallowed. The referee blew the whistle before he scored the goal. So it wasn't a goal disallowed. What it was is the referee made a mistake on the foul. So it should have been a free kick because really and truly, he didn't. He should have even not blown the whistle and then it would have been a goal, which I think they should have given the goal personally because, but they can't give a goal after the whistle's been blown. They can't do that. So you either get a penalty, you get a free kick, or VAR would review the goal after. But because the referee, so it's on the referee, because he blew the whistle.
I mean,
it was never a goal, so it's dumb. It's dumb, but that's just the rules of.
I have to disagree with you. Actually, it's actually Edison because he's a little princess. He decided Edison decided he wanted a Nickelodeon Choice Award for Best Actor of the Year. He won it. And do you know why he chose Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award? Because everyone knew he was going to get slimed after he won it. Because he's a little bit. I'm sorry. Do you know what? My respect to Jude Bellingham, because as a 17-year-old, he didn't just take the easy route down.
Yeah.
Edison, as an experienced goalkeeper, should know better.
Oh yeah. I'm not defending Edison. I was angry at Edison because when they scored that, I thought it was a goal.
Yeah, I know the ref. I know the ref blew the whistle, but if Edison hadn't gone down, the ref wouldn't have blown the whistle. So if you take it back, if Edison hadn't have gone down, the ref wouldn't have blown his whistle, and Edison was the one that touched Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, it was a complete shambles at the back from him, to be
honest.
That's
but then so was
him against singing. I'm just saying because you know what? what annoys me is when people say, "Oh, it's corruption." Like the referee got it wrong. It's on the referee. Like
no, I agree.
This season against where people said the same thing when we played West Brom. I think we won like 3-0 or something like that, 3-1 or something. But on our second goal, I think it was, there was that foul that, you know, people were saying it's not foul or whatever. And then obviously Cancelo put it in. All of the West Brom players had stopped. Then they were like, Man City have robbed us. But it's like, no, it's the ref. You have to play to the whistle. Even when you think it's offside, you still have to defend it and then put your hand up and say it was offside and try and get it. Whereas the players, like sometimes, because Man City have been guilty of it before. We've been guilty of stopping, like against Lyon last year.
I remember that.
Yeah. Laporte got fouled. Man City players stopped. They scored and they gave the goal, and we went out of the Champions League. So
I remember that.
More than anything, you have to play to the whistle because we've gone out of the Champions League on that, you know. And to be fair with Jude Bellingham, it's not his fault. That was a goal. He should have got.
Yeah, I agree. But, you know, and I said he was going to come back. But then there was more controversy in the fact that the penalty you had actually shouldn't have been given.
Yeah. Do you know?
The only, like, for me, when I first saw it, my instant thought was like everybody else's, penalty. And then I saw it hit his head and then his shoulder. It wasn't his actual arm, it was his shoulder. And then I was like, I don't understand. I couldn't understand why they've given it, because I was like, it touched his head before it touched his shoulder, which means when it touches your head before it touches your shoulder, it's not a penalty. So then I was like, I mean, I suppose it's the only way Mahrez is going to get on the score sheet at the minute.
You know what? Like, it's one of them, innit? Like, because somebody was saying today, like, if it's your club and you don't get it, you're pissed. But then if it gets given against you, you're pissed as well. It's one of them.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I don't know what the handball rule is anymore. I honestly don't. Because
if it touches your head and then goes to your shoulder, not a penalty. Because I asked,
they change it every week. I honestly don't know, because I've seen them given.
It's so confusing.
They give one week, and then the next week it's not a pen, and then the next week it's a clear pen, and then the next week it's not. Honestly, I don't know. So when I've
said this,
his head and then hit his shoulder here.
But I've said this about VAR. And I've said this a few times, is that with VAR, they need to do like video diagrams of how like these situations happen, because if there were video diagrams that we could all visually, every fan could visually see of what's a handball and what's not.
Yeah,
there wouldn't be an issue. And I've said this so many times, you can't just state it on paper, especially when it's so close to you need diagrams, you need to visually see it. And for me, they should actually, like for the refs especially, even release it for the fans so we understand too, because for us it causes issues too, like because we don't understand sometimes. They need to do like I've said this for so long, they need to like visual diagrams of like in like slow motion, break down how this is a handball and how this isn't a handball, because refs wouldn't get confused, VAR wouldn't get confused, because I'm pretty sure the people on VAR gets confused too, and us fans would be less confused, because it is like it just changes.
It's weird, because I remember years ago, like handball had to be deliberate. So if you accidentally touched it, it wasn't a pen. It had to be deliberate. Then they changed it a few years ago, which was anything in the box, you get given a pen. Because I remember there was a game, I can't remember where, but I remember Otamendi had his hands down by his side. It hit his hand. It was down by his side. It wasn't in an unnatural position. And they gave a pen. And it was by his side, because it hit his hand in the box, they gave a pen. So then I think they changed it to say it has to be in an unnatural position. And I think the reason why they gave the Dortmund one, even though it's harsh, the reason why they gave it is because his arm was like in an unnatural position, which is weird because he's heading the ball. So of course it's going to be, but that's just how they see it. And it's one of them rules where technically, if your arm is in an unnatural position, which it was, you know, they would give that. But then, like you said, you've got to see the context of it, that he headed it onto his arm. So it's a different situation. But honestly, I don't know what the rule is, because one week it's one thing, next week it'll probably not be given, and then they'll say, oh, you know, it's not a handball. So honestly, I don't really know what it is. I think Man City did get a bit lucky. The one thing I would say about Man City is a lot of the people that are coming to me now saying Dortmund got robbed, they weren't saying this when Spurs were getting decisions. They weren't saying this when Liverpool were getting decisions.
I'm not saying Dortmund got robbed, because I believe the ref made decisions. You can't go back on the ref's decisions. You kind of just have to move on with that. Like, because if you're holding on to all this shit, it's just too much angst. I can't be dealing with it. Like, the ref called decisions. The ref called decisions because there have been so many decisions this season. Do you know what? This is the problem. We have some of the best players in the Premier League, some of the best teams in the Premier League, but we have the worst referees. And, you know, it's not helped by VAR. VAR really isn't, like, writing it down on a piece of paper, change it, because they changed it halfway through the season, and I'm pretty sure they change it every week. But, you know, I think you've got a problem where you need to be more specific. I know, but it hit his head, and then the top of his arm did his. I understand his arm was in an unnatural position, but it was like this, but it only touched here. So for me,
it's a very tight one anyway.
It's a really tight one. I get where you're coming from, to be honest. But this is the problem. You've got people saying one thing, and you know what I mean? Like, this is where the confusion comes from, is that you've got people being like this and you've got people being like that. But there's so many rules and so many, like, little minor centimeters, millimeters, inches. And I'm like, can we just all be specific? Can we all be on the same page? Because I would like that. I don't think if like there was diagrams to show and there was videos to show what's offside, what's penalty, what's a not penalty, what's a handball, what's not a handball.
Yeah.
If they were to show that, I think everybody could kind of be on the same page. I don't think VAR would be so bad if everybody was on the same page and everybody knew what was what, because nobody knows what's what. You've got people being like, oh, remember this or remember this, and like, it's just like, I would like everybody to be on the same page, and actually kind of, you know, be able to be like, you know, I agree with this decision. This is what VAR said. Look at the diagrams, they match up. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's becoming more complicated. And you know what? Especially when you've like got people going back for football for the Carabao Cup final, you've got the FA Cup like final, like Champions League final, and it's just little things like when you go to a live game now. Because I remember when VAR first came in and I was at a match and we got a goal, and then it was like, oh my god, it's like the waiting for VR, because even at the games, they should be showing you what they show on the TV. Like, you know, when they draw the lines, that should be projected onto the screens in the stadium. So we know, because us fans, we celebrate a goal. We embrace and we go crazy and we celebrate a goal and it's all, yeah, get in. But then you take a step back and then it's like no goal and you're like, but why? I would like to be able to see something. You know what I mean? And I think we need to start getting on the same page, because I think there's a lot of times where the ref and VAR are on two different wavelengths, which I think
that's the problem with it, though, because that's what has been the problem the whole time. Because, you know, it's like there's certain rules that everyone just knows. Like, if all of the ball doesn't go, you know, into the net, it's not a goal. Like, that's been so they've got goal line technology, which is really clear. It shows you the whole picture. It shows you the ball. It shows you how long it went, you know, how far across it went and why it's not a goal or why it is a goal because it went in. Like, the goal line technology works really well, apart from like the odd time when it's not been switched on. But, apart from that, it's actually worked quite well. And no one argues with goal line technology because
it's VAR.
Yeah.
But this is my point.
Yeah.
But you know where you stand with goal line technology. You know where you stand. But I think Blue Maniac just made a really good point. Charlotte's making good points, but they want confusion because confusion means control. We will be shafted at some. This is so true. So
like match fix almost. It's ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah. I just, I think he's absolutely right. Absolutely agree. I think that's fair points. Like confusion means they get to be in control, and I get that completely. It's just a shame that it's got to kind of be like this, to be honest, because it kind of takes away the fun, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely taken the fun out of celebrating a goal. Like, you can't celebrate a goal anymore without thinking a VAR going to rule it out. Like, unless it's one of them where there's been no foul. One of them where the goalkeeper passes it to De Bruyne, who passes it to Sterling, who's on the wing, and he's clearly onside, and then he takes it inside and shoots, and you just know there's nothing that can be ruled out. You can't celebrate goals anymore because you're like, oh, was he on?
Literally.
It is really bad, and I prefer the human error. And I know, they talk about, because when VAR first came in, I was all for it because I thought, you know what, when the referee makes a mistake, like the situation with Jude Bellingham, where it looked like he got fouled from when you first see it, looks like that. He went to kick it. I never understand that rule anyway, because I'm sure one time Joe Hart went to kick it, missed it, somebody put it in the net and they ruled it out. So I think that has happened before. In a Man City game when I've been there, and apparently the goalkeeper is protected in that situation, which is really stupid. But apparently that's the case.
But I feel like
changed it years ago.
Yeah, but I would have just liked to see the ref play on, and then VAR is there for a reason. Exactly. If you're not going to use VAR, what is the point? The ref made a too quick decision actually on just what he saw instead of actually what we've all. Actually, I can't even address the ref right now. What the ref saw was Edison being a dramatic queen, that's Nickelodeon Choice Award performance worthy.
But this is like what you say. Obviously, the player in that situation, he knows if he goes down, there's a chance he doesn't score. He knows if he stays on his feet, he scores. So it's almost like the players can also use the referee to their advantage. And to be fair, Edison did. But do you know what? With situations like that, it's just if, like you say, if he leaves that and then VAR looks at it, VAR would have given that goal. So it's like VAR should be useful, but it's not because they're not using it properly. And the referees are still making the wrong decisions and VAR are agreeing with the wrong decisions. So I don't know. It's a bit of a mess for me. I honestly, when it came in, I thought it was a great idea, but I just don't think it is. I just think I'd rather, when years ago when I used to be in the stadium, I always used to, before I celebrated a goal, I would always look at the linesman to check that his flag was down before I celebrated, because you knew if the flag was down, it was a goal. Whereas now it's even if the flag is up or down, it doesn't really matter because VAR will decide whether it's a goal or not. So it's just, for me, I just think it has ruined it. And I don't even like talking about VAR because you know what? One week it does you a favor. The next week you get screwed over by it. So, it's I'm not even feeling sorry for Dortmund or anything, because knowing us, it'll be exactly the same thing happen to us in the next round. So we'll have to see. You do need a bit of luck in Europe, which we've never had. So you know what? For now, I'll take it. But I think City, to be honest, because a lot of people said if he scores there, Dortmund win. But I feel like this season, when teams have scored against Man City sort of step it up a level. So it's like we get better. Because that Dortmund second leg, after Jude Bellingham scored, City were much better than they were before the goal. So it's strange. So I think even if he scores that goal, it probably still would have ended 2-1. I don't think City would have conceded the goal late on if they'd have conceded a goal earlier. So you never know, obviously, but it's one of them. We'll have to see. I did feel sorry for Jude Bellingham, but he did get his goal, and to be fair, he was probably their best player over both legs, to be honest. And like I predicted that he would show up because he's English, so I expected him to come with a big performance because he's going to be showing people, look, I should be in the England squad. I'm good enough to play, in the Prem and stuff like that. So he did that. So you know what, fair play to him. I think he'll get signed up, to be honest, probably by an English club. But yeah, he was really, really impressive, to be honest. Val Vishwan says big up. Big up Jan. Ryan says big up Charles, no matter what she thinks. Oh, and no matter what she thinks, my favourite ever Man City fan. Big up to you. Strip Bear says hello, ladies.
Yes, Strip Bear.
Mustafa says yo, big up. Big up to you. We'll talk about the other games before we get onto some more of the comments. He says, Valvashran says, PSG are winning the Champions League. If you beat Bayern, you automatically win the Champions League. That has
not
happened.
True.
Apparently.
Not true, though.
Liverpool didn't beat them, did they? Or did they?
No.
I don't think Liverpool did.
No.
Valvashran said, bear this in mind. I got clips of all the Chelsea fans saying Madrid will be easy. Prepare for what's coming. Do you know what? It's one of them, innit? I think either the semi-finals are not, I'm not saying that Man City will go through. I think we'll go out, but it's not a dead cert. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it will depend how we defend, I think. Going forward, not too worried, but defensively, we have to defend well. But it's not going to be easy against them too, to be honest. Andrew says, big up Jan and Charlotte. Big up to you. Mustafa also thinks PSG are winning it. I was not drunk last night, Ryan. Yeah, this is actually true. That's why normally I'd be like, whatever.
Literally.
I love that. Strip Bear says, please like this magical panel, the wonderful lady. Subscribe if you haven't. It's an unmissable stream. Share throughout the entire world, the universe, if you know any
aliens. Thank you. Oh, I want to meet an alien. Do you know what? I'm going off football right now, but I need to right now. I've always wanted. I don't know if everyone's watched American Dad, but I have always wanted Roger the alien to be my best friend. He's a psychopath. He's a sociopath. And he don't take no shit. I'm like, could you be my best friend, please? So we can play dress up and be crazy characters and just get drunk. Yes, please.
Indiana's in the wilderness says, get smashing the likes, please, people. Subscribe if you are new.
Indiana.
Blue Maniac says, we need ex-lower league players to monitor the VAR screen so a more informed decision can be made. You know what it is? I just think in general, if you're in the VAR room, it's probably your mate on the pitch. And if you think about it, if your mate has made 3 wrong decisions in the game, I don't think you're overruling all of them. I don't think they're doing it. So it's almost like the more decisions that they can get wrong, it's weird to me. Indiana asks, we'll discuss the other games actually before we answer this. So the other games were obviously Liverpool, Real Madrid. I don't know if you watched their second leg. I didn't see it myself, but I heard there were a lot of chances.
So Liverpool had 139 created chances. All I'm going to say is they only had 4 shots on target. And all I'm gonna say is that you need to be getting rid of Mane at the end of the season because he ain't doing nothing for you. I'd be keeping Salah over Mane any day. You have some real issues. Some real issues. I think we have to first address the elephant in the room is Klopp staying at the end of the season? And you know what? I know a lot of Liverpool fans would be like, yeah, but he won us the Champions League, he won the Premier League, but you're not going to get the Premier League for another 30 years. So why don't you just sit back and relax and have a calm down pill? Like, take fire for a second, because I don't think Liverpool are actually going to do well. I genuinely have said this for so long now. I said this since like end of November last year. I think it's the first time I ever said it, and everyone just went, what are you saying? You're going to get clipped. And I'm like, cool, someone clip me. Like, Liverpool are going to end up in the Europa Conference League this season.
It could happen. It could happen. The only thing
it will happen. It will happen. I'm not even
saying is that they have nothing else to play for now, so that might make a difference in the top 4 race. But they have to improve on their performances, and I don't know, like you say, whether that. If you look at how well West Ham are playing, you know, it's.
But you know what? I think
Chelsea. It will depend on what happens with the.
I think the problem is that Liverpool don't actually have any distractions anymore. Yeah. Like Man City, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Champions League. Man United, Europa League, FA Cup. West Ham don't have anything, so they don't have an excuse. But you've got Chelsea, Champions League, FA Cup, Premier League. You know, all these teams. So realistic for me, Liverpool we have 7 games left of the season.
Yeah.
And we have Liverpool with nothing else left but the Premier League. Yeah. Now, the only way to get Champions League for them is to actually get into top 4. Now, if they're not getting into top 4 with nothing else to worry about but their Premier League, then I want to know what Liverpool's games are, to be honest. I want to know if actually...
I think their fixtures are okay apart from Man United away. I think that's their hardest fixture. But I think all the others are winnable.
So Liverpool have got Leeds. Oh, they're probably going to lose to Leeds. Newcastle might beat them. Man United, they're going to lose to. Southampton, they're probably going to lose to. Or West Brom have already beaten them. They can beat them again. Burnley have already beaten them. Crystal Palace yes, they're probably going to have 7 losses. Woohoo! Go Liverpool! No, I'm just bantering, but no, like for real. That the problem is they seem easy, but Liverpool make them look hard. That's the problem. Is that they're not. United aren't gonna lose to Liverpool. I'm sorry, I hate saying that, but I just don't see it. I do. Yeah, Crystal Palace, I think, will give them a run for their money too. I mean, they can give us a run for their money, but I'm just saying that. Some of us can beat Crystal Palace 4-1. Some of us can also beat teams in the bottom 6 as well. No, just saying. But I think Liverpool have got an easy run, apart from United and Palace for me. Yeah. Maybe Leeds will give them a struggle, because Leeds do like to kind of turn up. Look at the City game. I was shocked by that.
Do you know what? I wasn't actually too surprised. I was, it's mad. If you look at the actual way we played and just I don't know how we didn't win that game, to be honest. But I wasn't surprised, because I knew we rested.
Because John Stones decided not to defend. That's why you lost.
He was the number 10 in that game.
And then we had Indiana, I see you, Indiana. I see you, Indiana, with them comments. Me being like, oh man, you were going to beat Liverpool, and you come up with me, some of us can't beat West Brom. Let me talk to you, Indiana. Some of us can't beat Sheffield United, talking about Man United. Don't come at me. We've beat Sheffield United twice in like 3 weeks, and you're coming at me like, no.
Yeah, that Leeds game is we had the whole left side of our play was a bit suspect because we had Mendy who's just come in out and out. We had Aki who's just come back from injury. We had Zinchenko in midfield who hasn't played there for a while, and we had Sterling who's really out of form. So the left side was a bit of a myth. I actually thought John Stones was one of our better players
until he let in the goal.
But the last bit. But it's Cancelo really. Cancelo was awful.
I mean, you can blame Cancelo, but John Stones, man, he really had a big part to play in that goal. Oh, yeah. I just think that City have shown, like, City had this run of absolutely, like, I wouldn't want to play City. Like, I was praying we didn't get City in the round before us. Because I was like, if we get City in the round before us, we're fucked. Like, we're out this league. But, we didn't. God blessed us with some absolute amazingness. But, this City is not the City that, like, was at every team was scared of playing. This City is not the team getting goals for fun. I'm not going to finish that sentence. I'm not going to finish that sentence because that's going to come back and haunt me on Saturday. I'm not going to finish that sentence. You know what, City? You carry on. You've done a good job so far. You've won the Premier League. I'm not commenting anymore. I'm not opening my big mouth.
Yeah, City, it's interesting because, like, I don't know, like, City are a bit different this season because normally, like, we're very, very good week in, week out. And then when it comes to big games, we can struggle a little bit. Whereas this season, it just, I don't know what it is. I can't really describe it like that. I know Dortmund was one of them games where it was not quite that simple, but that last sort of 20, 30 minutes, I've not seen Man City defend like that. Probably ever. Like, they were so good defensively, and I was shocked by that because usually the game's quite open to the end, even if we're winning, it seems like quite an open game. So it didn't feel like that sort of the last 10, 20 minutes. So I'm hoping that Man City are able to kind of pull out results. We've seen it this season a little bit where we'll be 1-0 up, they'll equalise, and then we'll step it up a level and win 3-1. It's happened.
It's like when they get a goal, you don't like it, but it takes them getting a goal before that gear gets stepped up. Whereas when you start, like, in January, you got to that point where you were just getting goals for fun. I'm pretty sure, like, Edison wanted to get on the score sheet as well at one point. Like, it was kind of like that. But now you've gone into, like, a gear where you're on, like, a level, and then, like, when they get a goal, it, like, gets stepped up a level. But I have said this: if Chelsea beat Man City, we're winning the FA Cup. I said if. I said if, just to clarify before anyone decides to clip me. I said if, like, this season. Do you know what? This season's been really hard to predict. Yeah. Really, really hard to predict. I would like to say Chelsea will go through, but City. It depends what City turns up. To be honest, like, we have had more time. You only played yesterday. Like, we have had more time. Tuchel will have had more time to get the players back and actually get them back in, and more time for training and that. The next 4 days from Saturday, Sunday, we got West Ham and Leicester about to become the victims of Operation Get Liverpool top 4. Watch this place. Nah, please don't. Nah, Jesus, dear Lord. But I think the problem is that maybe
none of this Blue Maniac. You're gonna jinx us.
Just to clarify something, we are capable of. I'm sorry. How many people when we got Atletico Madrid ruled us out? Just answer me. Half our squad, half our fan base did. Even I ruled them out. Just to clarify, Chelsea have a chance. There is a 50-50 chance. You're not going in against a Lampard Chelsea. You're going in against a Champions League semi-final Chelsea, just like your team, We are in the semi-finals. And do you know what? This to me, this Champions League feels like 2012 Champions League, where we had a really easy route and we faced Bayern. And this is what I think will happen. This is what I would like to happen, is that we end up beating PSG. You know, wouldn't you love to see Mason Mount getting that final penalty, slamming it in the back of the net, and being like, "Oh, we've won the Champions League." I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not. This is just what happens in my head. This is literally just me saying what happens in my head. Not saying this is going to happen. This is what happens in my head. But you know, don't rule out Chelsea, because the minute you rule out Chelsea will be the minute that your team lose. Because if you underestimate us, and we've done this so many times. Look at West Brom. When we played West Brom, we underestimated them. Yeah. Look what happened. Like, never underestimate a team. Like, you guys underestimated Leeds, and look what else happened. Bielsa gave you a masterclass in how not to underestimate people. You know, this season is so unpredictable that you can't underestimate any team. And we've learned that the hard way.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think Pep, like, he's not going to see it the way fans see it. Like, he's going to see it. Do you know what? Like, I actually think this is probably the hardest game of the season so far to call. I honestly don't know what the result will be. Obviously, I'm going to back my team, but it could go either way. It's a semi-final. You know, we've gone into a semi-final against Arsenal at a time where Arsenal weren't better than City. I think we were winning the league. I think we'd already won the Carabao Cup. I think. And we went into that game against Arsenal and they knocked us out, you know, in the semi-final. They weren't better than us. So, yeah, it's one of them. I think it's going to be difficult. I think it depends on which Man City turn up, like you say. And obviously with Chelsea turn up as well. But it'll be a good game, I think. It'll be a close one. It's not going to be like a 2-3-0. It'll be 2-1 either way.
I'm looking forward to playing Chelsea and to playing City, and everyone seems to think I'm an absolute nut job for saying this, but this will be our first proper challenge of a team that's actually, you guys have already won the Premier League, you're champions. I get that. I'm not debating that. You know, I think that it's going to be a challenge for us because this is a team that I actually want to play because we haven't had that challenge yet. And I want to see how we handle a big game in the Premier League, because we've handled big games in the Champions League. That's not a problem. I've underestimated. Like, I didn't think we'd beat Atletico Madrid, and we did. Like, we've beaten big teams when we've needed to turn up. We've turned up against Atletico Madrid. We've turned up against Porto. We haven't turned up in the Premier League like we have in the Champions League. The nearest I saw from that was actually the Crystal Palace game when we beat them 4-1, and Werner wasn't in there, and we actually got more than 2 goals. But, you know, I think if Werner starts on Saturday, we're fucked. I'm not even playing here. I've never wanted Werner not to start more. Like, I need who do I need? I need Havertz. I need Mount. Who do I need? I need Pulisic. I need anybody but Werner right now. I'd like to see Hudson-Odoi play. You know, like, everyone's like, I just want to see how we play against your team and how we turn up, because this isn't, for me, the last FA Cup game we had, I wasn't impressed. Yes, I was happy we got through, but I'm not impressed. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. But I can see Man City, like, fan in the comments, like, underestimating us so much. And now I've never wanted my team to whoop your ass more. Like, I love Jan, but man, don't underestimate Chelsea. Like, I'm underestimating Chelsea. I think they're average, especially.
You know what it is? It's I would say with Man City, like, I'm never as confident in the FA Cup because our FA Cup record is not the best. I know it's all right against Chelsea, to be honest, but even then, the last time we beat you in the semi, I think was the year we went and lost to Wigan. So it's not like, it's not really a great record. That being said, like Pep's not going to underestimate Chelsea. The players are not going to underestimate Chelsea. So it doesn't really matter what our fans say. But I think it should be a good game, to be honest. I think it'll be a good game. A lot of people, what people always do wrong is they say things like, "Oh, we can beat Man City because Leeds beat them," or they'll say, "Oh, we can beat."
I'm not saying that.
Not you, but I'm saying in general, like people will say things like that, like, "Oh, Chelsea got beat by West Brom." Doesn't matter. They got beat by West Brom and then went and beat Porto. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. You know, it's not for me. It's just one of them things where I don't take any external results into the game, and that game is City against Chelsea in a
literally
game.
Literally. But I'm as I said, I'm looking forward to playing you guys. It's going to be a challenge for us. You know, Man City have absolutely because we had this conversation at the beginning of the season, didn't we? Where I was like, "Oh, don't underestimate City," and I have been proven right, you know, because everyone was, and I was at the beginning of the season being like, guys, don't underestimate City. And people were laughing at me.
Oh, yeah.
People were laughing at me and telling me that I was silly. But actually, I was right. Pep will always come back. Pep doesn't take shit. So, you know, the game... Strip Bear's right, actually. She says it's going to be a magnificent game or completely boring. That is what's going to happen. It's a big ass game, and look at all the big derbies we've had that are have been so dead. Strip Bear's right. It's either going to be absolutely an incredible game, which I'm hoping for the first, not the latter. I don't want a boring game. We've had too many boring derbies. We've had too many boring big games. You know what I mean? Look at City versus Liverpool. First time you've beaten them at Anfield since 2002, and Phil Foden was 2 years old. The man was getting a goal against them. I just, you know, it's banter's banter. We get it. I love that. But you know, I just think it's gonna be interesting.
Before we wrap up, we'll just, because I know we've sort of said the FA Cup, I'll actually, what's your prediction for this game? Because I actually think 2-1 either way, but obviously I'm going to back Man City.
I think it's going to be I've said 2-1 too. I think it's going to be 2-1. I'm going to back Chelsea. You're going to back City.
It definitely be 2-1, I think. Definitely.
It's going to be 2-1 against to either one of our teams. I'm not sure which. I know it's not going to be a huge scoring game. It's literally going to be that 1-1 until either it's, I believe it's going to go through it's going to be a first one goal in the first half, one goal in the second half, and then one goal at the very, very end, that kind of style, or both goals in the first half and then one goal at the very end. But I think it's going to be very close. I don't think it's going to be an absolute abomination. You know, we have a goalkeeper that actually does his job now. We don't have Kepa anymore. 6-0 don't happen anymore with us. They don't happen. You don't have to worry about having to get your guys to get 6 goals. We actually have a decent goalkeeper. I swear to God, if I see Kepa's name starting, I'm quitting football. I'm quitting football. I'm not even playing with you. If the minute I see Kepa's name, be like, sorry, Jan, congratulations, you won the FA Cup. Bye. See you later, done.
Do you know what? Some of the worst goalkeepers we're terrible against. It's weird. Man City.
I can't. No, Kepa's on a different level. Kepa is on a different level. You don't understand. Kepa is actually on an actual different level. Just to remind us of the Carabao Cup with Maurizio Sarri. I'm gonna just bring back that banterous moment. But you know, I'm looking forward to the game. It's actually a game I'm looking forward to, just because I want to see how we turn up and how we actually manage under so much pressure and are actually under a good team. You know. I feel like I'm saying that like Atletico Madrid was shite, but we owned them. Did they get a goal? No, they didn't get no goal.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it'll just be interesting. Like I hate this period of the season because it's like every game for Man City right now is like a cup final. Like we have no games where it's like, oh great, we can relax this week. Like because even the Premier League now, it's getting close. You know, it's
yeah. You're only 17 points ahead.
No, it's eight if Man United win their game in hand. So it's not that
many.
many.
Oh yeah, it's 11. It's 11 right now.
Yeah,
it's 11 right now. So you literally can't afford to lose any Premier League games.
Exactly.
Because you know what I've always said, City have taken away with it. But like I said, City can take away with it, but they can also mess it up just as much as.
Yeah, I think now, like the way it is, I think it's important we win our next game against Villa, because if we lose that, it's going to be one of them where all the pressure will be on Man City at a time where we've got a game against Tottenham, a game against PSG. We don't need any pressure put on us on top of everything else. So we need to beat Villa.
I kind of do. I do need that kind of pressure put on you, to be honest. I really do, because we've got to play you closer to the end of the season. You're like our fourth or third last game. So if I'm honest, if you're under a shitload of pressure, that means we can beat you in the Premier League. Because Pep, you're going to crumble under that much pressure.
I don't think Man City, the way that we played this season, I can't see us losing like 3 games out of 5. I just can't. Like,
Can you actually imagine?
We lost 4 out of 32. So I don't see it like that. Like, I think it's one of the. I'm not saying the Chelsea game is going to be. I don't think that's going to be too relevant. Man City need to win. We can't afford. We've got 6 games left. We can't afford to lose 3.
So basically, what you're saying is that you're gonna lose. You lose to City. You lose to Chelsea twice, and then because you lose to Chelsea twice, and then you'll lose to Chelsea on Saturday. Then you'll lose to us in the Premier League, and then you can carry on winning the other teams. You know what I mean?
No, well, the thing is, by the time we play you, if we win our 2 games, I think we can afford to lose every other game. The way that the season goes, you know what I mean? So
if you don't, like, this is, yes, Monster. Big up to Monster. Do you know what? I'm excited for this game.
Do you know what? Though? It's mad because, like, when we lost to Man United, everyone was like, Man City are going to crumble now. And then we won our next 6 games in all camps. So I'm hoping that Man City do the same thing now because we lost to Leeds. But yeah, like Blue says, we only need 3 wins. Our next game is Villa. After Villa, I think it's Crystal Palace. Then it's Chelsea. So even if we lose to Chelsea, that means we need 1 win out of 3 games. I don't think Man City are going to mess that up. And I don't think Man United go unbeaten from now to the end of the season. The way it's been played,
I don't think. Adam, what was that? I don't think City will lose that many games. I don't think United will go unbeaten. No. You've just cursed yourself now. You've literally, those words have come out your mouth. You've said it. Guys, clip this up. Clip this up. Clip this up. What Yanni just said.
Do you know what it is? If that happens, that will be one of the weirdest things that's ever happened in the Prem, because there has been twice where somebody with an 8-point gap hasn't won the league. Both of them times, there was over 10 games to play. Both of them times, there was a 6-pointer in it. So it's different. Like when we came back from 8 points against Man United, we had the derby. So when we played the derby, it took it down to 5. Then they drew with Everton, which took it down further. Then they lost a game and we went on the same points. And then Man City won it on the last day of the season. So it was a slightly different thing. I just don't really. I'm not saying it's impossible. Of course, it's possible for Man United to win it, but I just think when they've been at the top of the Premier League this season, and the closer they get to the top, the worse they get. So I think even if we did pull it back, I still think Man City. I've seen Man City win 14 games in a row at the end of the season.
Yeah.
The Premier League.
Do you know what?
I've seen it. So
this is starting to become a title race now, and I'm quite enjoying this because like all season we've been like it's been a little bit dead. Even if it's like 11 points, that's still competition for me. Like that's still like some sort of competitiveness because like if City lose 2 games and United win 2 games, that for me is competition. That's when it starts to get close, and that's I always enjoy a last-minute title race for a title.
I don't at all. I hate them. But you know what? Our games are Aston Villa away, Crystal Palace away, Newcastle away, Brighton away, Everton at home, and Chelsea. So we have to win 3 out of them games. So even if we lost to Aston Villa, beat Crystal Palace, lost to Chelsea, beat Newcastle, beat Brighton, and lost to Everton, we still win the league. That's why I don't think it's doable, because even if we only win our home games, we win the league. That's if we lose all the away games. So
to clarify, you've just said if. There is that big if, and you know what the problem is that United could act. Can you imagine if United won the Premier League this season?
They won't. They won't. Because I think even in that Liverpool game that they might win, Liverpool are not going to want to see Man United win the league. So they'll probably go all out to get a draw in that game. And they'll probably get it. So it's even things like that. I just don't think Man United away have been very good, but at home they haven't been great. Let me see Man United's fixtures, because I don't think
Man United's fixtures aren't awful. Liverpool's their worst one, I think.
So they have Burnley at home, who, even though that's easy on paper, Man United struggle against Burnley sometimes, to be fair.
Then Man United are struggling at home at the minute.
Then they've got Leeds away. That's a big game because they hate each other. So that's a big game. And plus, they beat Leeds 6-0 last time. So Leeds are not going to want to lose that. I'm not saying they will. I think they'll still lose. But then they've got Liverpool at home. If that's at Anfield, I think they've got a better chance. But it's at home, and they struggle more at home. Then they've got they'll win. Then they've got Leicester at home. And the thing is with Leicester is not only have Leicester beaten them twice this season, but Leicester are also in a top 4 race. So that game is not as simple. Then they've got Fulham at home, which they'll win. And then they've got Wolves away, which they'll win. So that Leicester game and that Liverpool game, I think the rest of them, they'll win. But there's 2 there that they're not guaranteed to win. So I think we'll both drop points. I think
I agree.
That's how I think it'll be. But I just think we'll have to see. If Man United come back from being, 11 points behind or 14 points behind or whatever they were, win every single game, I think it's 17 wins in a row if they win, something like that. It's let me see how many games in a row it is. So if they win the league from now, they will win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games. They would win the last 11 games and they would be unbeaten in 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
I'm not going to lie.
27, 28, 29.
Okay, we get it, yeah. We get it.
They're over 30 games in a row. I don't see it personally.
Okay, can we just talk about this tweet? I've just seen a tweet and I need to share it with everybody. I don't know if y'all hold on, let me turn it down for a second. Can you all see it?
Liverpool 2018 to 2020.
An era we'll never forget.
Do you know what? Someone actually said it in the comments. Like, where was it?
I'm pretty sure Kai has been saying this for the longest time, is that Liverpool would do this and fade away. Who else has said this? I'm pretty sure there was, I don't know. I swear, like someone else said that. I think it's Prime, maybe. I don't know. Someone else said that, like the minute they said at the end of the season. I think it was pretty sure it was Kai. Kai said at the end of the season, Liverpool are done. And Kai's right.
Yeah.
They're proving. You know what? Liverpool are done. I'll see Liverpool in 30 years' time. Well, I'll see them in 29 years' time for the Champions League and 30 years for the Premier League. You know, Klopp has the same domestic trophies as Arteta, and they call it an empire.
Do you know what's madness though? Like,
I love that.
We did like a pre-season preview the year that Liverpool won the league, and they were asking who I thought would win the league, and obviously Man City had just gone back to back, and I was like, I don't know if Man City will do it again, but I was like, I think it'll only be Liverpool that challenge. And I was saying if they get some injuries, they're in big trouble. And everyone was like, no, they'll be fine. And then this season, when they got the injuries that they got, everyone was saying, but we're still top. Look what we're doing. And the thing is, they kind of got into their head that they're unbeatable and no one can beat them. And I think once they were beaten and the sort of injuries started taking a toll on them, and obviously the tactics weren't working as well as they were, and the system wasn't working, and the players weren't being as clinical and stuff like that, it just dried up a bit. And that season where Salah hit that ridiculous amount of goals, they didn't win the league, but that season, everything he touched went in the back of the net. Everything.
Right.
Like, literally breathed on the ball and it was in the back of the net. And the thing is with stuff like that is, yes, it can work for a short period of time, but eventually not everything you touch is going to go in the back of the net. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's kind of like the team that they've built isn't a sustainable team based on the ages of the players, based on the system that they have. It's not as sustainable as they probably think it is. And if you look at all the eras where your team have been successful, the front three are never the same. If you look at Man United and look at their successful periods, there's different players in every front three. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like Man City are the same. Like when Aguero came in, he had Dzeko, Balotelli, and Tevez. Then it changed. Then it was like Negredo, Aguero. Then it changed again, and it just keeps changing. And now we're at a point where Aguero doesn't even feature in Man City anymore. But it's literally like it changes all the time, and they can't keep Mane, Salah, and Firmino. They need to change it up. So it's just whether they can get someone in that's going to do what Salah does. Because I think it'll be Salah that goes. I don't think it'll be Mane, because Mane's retail value's probably gone down this season. Because people aren't going to look at him now and think, yeah, we're going to sign him for 100 mil. People are going to look at him and think, what can we get him for realistically? Do you know what I mean? And I think Salah's probably the big money signing that they've got in their squad. So I don't know. I think Salah might end up leaving and then it's rebuilding again. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting because I think next season Chelsea are going to get better because the players that you've bought, they're going to settle in.
And we're going to buy more players.
We're
going to buy more players.
Season, like, even though it sounds crazy because we're actually in all 4 competitions, Man City haven't been amazing this season, like especially in the league, we've not been amazing. So I think Man City get better next year as well. I think quite a lot of the teams near the top are going to get better. So
not Liverpool, not Spurs, not
Liverpool. It's actually going to get harder for Liverpool.
Spurs. Don't forget Spurs.
I don't take it seriously, if I'm being honest. Like,
do you know what the best part of this is? That knowing that Arsenal might not even make the Conference League, and the only way that they're going to make the league is if they actually win the Europa League. I'm actually seeing I actually can see an all-English Europa League final.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be Arsenal, Man U, and do you know what? Everyone thinks Man U will going to destroy them. But Arsenal, if we take it back to reverse 2019 Europa League final where they lost to Chelsea 3-1, a very good game. They've got some vengeance to like come up. They're like, yep, we need to get Arteta a trophy. To be honest, that's not the FA Cup. Like, we need something sustainable.
What people fail to realize is, though, when they talk about Man City and Man United, they actually talk about his record against Pep and say Ollie is great against Pep. He's not beaten Arteta, and I'm not saying that means he's going to go and win. You know, Arteta's going to go and win that final. But like you said, it's not out of the question because
exactly. That's my point.
You know, so what's to say that Ollie, who was bottled every semi-final he's been in, what's to say that he's then going to go to a high-pressure final where he's expected to win it? If we're being honest, how is he going to do under that pressure? Because it's not guaranteed that he's going to go and win it. You know,
just to clarify, that's if he actually gets to the final, because you know how Ole and semi-finals go together very well. He's had 4 of them, and he's been kicked out of 4 of them. Maybe make it 5, so I have a full hand of numbers.
No. Edin Dzeko needs to be the guy, man. A hat-trick at Old Trafford will do. That would be.
But I'm not going to lie, I really did enjoy the Arsenal game today. Like, Arsenal were drawing 1-1 on their own turf. Yeah. They took the fight to Slavia Prague and absolutely fucking annihilated them. There's no other word for it. They absolutely annihilated them. Like, Slavia Prague deserved every part of what came to them. They it's a little bit of social justice, but there's not what should have been done.
No.
Unfortunately, and the fact that Arsenal have to get that many goals to kind of kick them out, like, it's just the way the situation.
That's properly kicking racism out of football.
Literally, like, see you later. Hurrah! You're probably not going to be invited back to the next Europa League.
It's just interesting. I think Man United fans are already in the final, and I think it's just so dangerous because it's like now, like, you will get the odd City fan, the odd Chelsea fan that's like, we're in the final of the Champions League. You always get them fans that are like, we're going to do it. It's dead easy, you know. But in general, it's one of them things like there's no game in football that you can 100% say that a result's going to go a certain way. Like, how many times in the Premier League this season, I would have put my house on the fact that Man United beat Sheffield United. You know, I would have put my house on that because I would have thought there's no way Sheffield United would beat Man United. I would have said, if you said at the start of the season, I know Leeds are a good side, but if you said at the start of the season, Man City won't beat them, I'd be like, well, I'm sure we'll beat them in one game. But it's like, things like that can happen. And how many times have Man City gone to a key game against Wigan and got knocked out? And it's like, we struggle more against Wigan than we have against Bayern Munich. Like, it's just mental. And it's just a weird thing. And that's why, for me, football nothing can be ruled out in football. Like, there's people who have a higher probability. Like, I would say in the final of the FA Cup, whoever wins on Saturday, I would expect that team to go on and win it. But that doesn't mean that Southampton and Leicester have zero chance, because on their day, they could turn up and win it. So it's just, for me, nothing is guaranteed. And there's a lot of people that are kind of ruling out Roma, like, Roma are not going to do anything. And to be honest, I still think Man United will get to the final. But I don't think it's going to be the easy game that they think it's going to be. I just don't think it will, because Roma.
I just want Roma to win because Pedro's there.
Yeah, Edin Dzeko is there. I love Edin Dzeko.
I love it. Yes, mate. But I like, for me, Pedro and Chris Smalling.
Yeah.
He's gonna play. Can Chris Smalling still play? Yeah, it's not the same rule in Premier League. He can still play. Yes.
Yeah, he can. Yeah.
Oh, thank God for that.
Is he on loan? I don't even know.
I just want to see Chris Smalling get a goal against Man U. The banter I would actually have. Can you imagine Chris Smalling celebrate? Oh, that's beaut.
I'd love it to happen. I can't see it. I think United will still go, but I'd love that. I would love that. It'd be funny. definitely would be funny. If Ollie bottles another semi, that'll be funny.
Oh, that's gonna be so. I'm never gonna let Man U fans down. Just to clarify, bits and bobs. You think you're getting away with this one? You're not. Like, let me tell you, any Man U fan that has actually bantered me, if you go out in the semi-final, the amount of banter that is coming your way is absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
I see you, Man U fans, and I raise you probably going out in the semi-finals.
Do you know what? I feel so much more relieved now because, like, even in our games, like, if we go out in the semi-final to, like, a PSG or a Real Madrid, it's not half as bad as going out in the Europa League. Like, it's just not. It's just not the same. Like, it's, you know, it's for me at the start of the season, I was like, I just want Man City to get past the quarterfinals. And we've done that. So now that we're in the quarterfinals, I'd expect us to at least go and try and beat PSG.
Yeah.
But if we go out and it's close and Man City play really well, I'm not going to be like gutted, do you know what I mean? Because it's just like they've kind of done it before us. They've been to a final. We've never been to a final. So it's just one of them. I'd expect us to turn up. The Real Madrid game was the worst game I've ever seen in my life. That semi-final, 0 shot target from either side in both legs. How is that possible? It was just awful. Like, personally, Real Madrid should have been ashamed of themselves because, like, that game, like, how this is Man City with, like, Fernando and Otamendi at the back, and I'm sure it was Demichelis back then and people like that. So I don't know how they didn't, you know, I know they won the game in the end. I think it was like an own goal, but yeah, it was just a mess, that game. But yeah, I'd expect Man City to kind of turn up. Just before we wrap up, did you watch the PSG Bayern game?
Yep.
Like, that was one of the best games I've ever seen in my life, you know. Really, really good game from
I mean, I feel like I'm going to be really controversial here, but I feel like they both in the games they both had points where they slipped completely. Like, for me, the first half an hour of the first half was good. Yeah. Then it kind of died down a little bit. Then they came back in the second half, and that was really good. I enjoyed that. And then it got to a point where it kind of died down again. You know, when it was good, it was good, like really good. I enjoyed it. But, you know, Bayern Munich, I don't know how they missed some of their chances. I really don't. Yeah, they can be very dangerous, to be honest. But the PSG, for me, I feel like they weren't the PSG that turned up in the first leg. If that makes sense, I feel like they had opportunities and they didn't take them, whereas if they'd been in the first leg, they would have got them. So I feel like it is what it is, and we have to forget that technically they got the same amount of goals. Unfortunately, PSG just got away goals, and Bayern Munich only got one. So, you know, if you look at how it stands, it was 6-4 on goals wise, because away goals count as 2. But if you look at it on just goals itself, they both scored 3 goals. You know, I see a Tuchel Pochettino final. I see, like it would be an absolute beauty to see Poch get kicked out of final. But, you know, I'm not going to say anything with chess because I don't know, like, this season's so unpredictable. But I'm looking forward to the champion. Like, there's some good matches coming up ahead, and I am looking forward to them.
Yeah, it should be a good game regardless. I think it's interesting.
I just hope it's not one of those overhyped games that, like, we've all gone around this Saturday and been like, yeah, Chelsea, Man City, I can't wait to see how, like, Chelsea fans are like, can't see how much of a challenge it is. Man City fans like, yeah. And I feel like I'm going to be really annoyed if it's boring as hell. I literally, do you know what? I have a gut feeling it's going to go to penalties.
Yeah, that wouldn't.
It wouldn't surprise me if it did. I hope it doesn't. I hope we're right with the 2-1 for whichever team, like, for whether our teams it is. But
yeah, I think I don't know. it's just so interesting because it's like when they were talking in the Champions League, obviously, when we got the draw, and everyone was saying, who would you rather play if City beat Dortmund? And a lot of City fans were saying PSG, and then others were saying like Bayern Munich. Like for me, if Lewandowski is in that team, I think they go for Bayern Munich, personally, because even though PSG played really well in the second leg, the amount of chances that Dortmund had, sorry, not Dortmund, the amount of chances that Bayern Munich had, I think they could have, with Lewandowski, I think he puts, especially them Sane chances, Lewandowski puts them in the back of the net. So I think it's a different game. But for me, the only reason why I would have probably favoured Bayern Munich is because Bayern Munich play as a team and PSG is kind of almost like individual brilliance, if I know that sounds dumb, but that's kind of how they are. And it's going to be very hard to tactically analyze what they're going to do, apart from the fact they're going to try and, exploit Man City's high line or whatever. They're going to try and do that, which is obvious. But apart from that, it's quite hard to know what they're going to do. Whereas I think with Bayern Munich, I think Pep can sort of mastermind it a little bit. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think Man City can do it. I don't think it's completely out of the question. But we would have to defend well and take our chances. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. As long as Man City turn up and play well, then I'm not going to be heartbroken. But yeah, I think City need to kind of just push through this whole Champions League thing, and whether that's just getting to a final, they need to do it. So I hope we can do it, but it's gonna be a stressful 2 games unless Man City go 4-0 up in the first leg, but it's not gonna happen. So yeah, it's gonna be stressful, but hopefully we can get through. I don't know. It's gonna be one of them. But we'll wrap up there because it's late. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Charl, where can they find you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, Strong TV. Jan's made appearances on there. I'm going to hopefully get Jan back on there again soon. We've got lots going on, really. I'm on this show every Thursday. I'm on the Women's GNA show on the Friday. Then I'm on Kendall's show on the Terrace. And then on Tuesday, I'm on Bits and Bobs' show, Corner on the Cobham. Yeah, and then on May 10th, I've got a very, very, very special show coming up. 2 referees, I'm going to be interviewing them.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah, that's about it.
For tuning.
And subscribe to this channel now. Like, do it right now. Like, press that subscribe button right now.
Yeah, you can find me on mainly Sarcasm City or my own channel, Jan City ENT. So go subscribe to both of them. And here every Thursday night at 10, 11-ish. So yeah, tune in next week. I think they've got a show tomorrow, Fraud Watch. I'm not sure what time it is. Probably 10 tomorrow. So yeah, make sure you check back here tomorrow for their shows, and we will see you later.